Lofty expectations? Exceeded. Hello everyone, this is the LEGO NASA Space Shuttle Discovery set that also comes with a very nice Hubble, and it is a glorious set indeed. It comes with nicer than usual stands for each of the major things, as well as little plaques. Just hit pause if you want to read all the text on these. As usual, they use just one large sticker each, and the builds are very simple. This is one of the largest spacecraft that LEGO has made outside of the Ultimate Collector Series Star Wars line. It is not at all to minifigure scale. It is much smaller than proper minifig scale, but still it dwarfs a minifig. It has tremendous presence on display, and LEGO, as usual, did work directly with NASA for the branding and also presumably to get some of the facts and figures to include on the box and in the instruction manual along the way, and to verify some of the dimensions, I'm assuming, and to try to get it right. They really did get it right. If you compare this to photographs of the real shuttles, it is really, really good. It almost directly fits into many of the views that you can see, like blueprint-like views, or even if you do a direct overlay versus photographs of the real shuttles. It fits so dang well because of the large size, which allowed them to create shapes that they might not normally be able to pull off with levels of accuracy that they might not normally be able to accommodate and to accomplish with existing pieces. They did introduce a new piece as well, a brand new mold just for the cargo bay doors. We'll talk about those a good deal in the future. And I'm even happy about the stand here because, as you can see down there, it's not the typical basic Technic only stand with some lift arms and some pins, or maybe some Technic bricks. There are a couple of Technic bricks in there, but for the most part, it's pretty smooth. Like, this display is super nice. It's also extraordinarily easy to remove from the stand. You just pick it up and the stand stays behind. It's not attached with any studs or any mechanical connection. These little slots just fit into a couple of holes on the underside, and it all holds itself together very securely. And then you can display it on the landing gear, which themselves are retractable. There are a few functions in here that I'll be showing you. Did I say they created a new part for this? No, they actually created a couple new parts for it, because the canopy piece here, the windscreen piece, is a brand new mold, and that is an exclusive print. I do hope that they will use this piece again in the future, but the print will probably remain exclusive, at least to shuttles in this line, in case they do another one in the future. This is also a new piece here on top, but that is not going to be exclusive to this set in any way, shape, or form. Most of the decorations on this model are prints, but there are a couple of stickers. There are, I believe, 4 of them used on the outside, a bunch of them used on the inside. This is a print here, where I said printed canopy. The major decorations on the wings are done with prints. So that's a print here. You'll see one on the other side. That's a print. That's just a tiny little sticker up there. Now let me just clarify one thing about why we are here, who I am, what I can do with this review, what I'm going to do with this review. If you were interested in this set, you already have seen it quite extensively by the time this review comes out. Let's just be honest about that. The pictures came out, and there was a lot of interest in the thing, and everybody saw those if you wanted to see it, because it's amazing looking. And then there have been a lot of early reviews already put up, which is just the normal process. So I'm not going to try to duplicate all the stuff that you already know. And also, as a viewer, you may know quite a lot more about the source material than I do, although I did grow up during the space shuttle era, I personally am not a learned scholar about space systems or the space shuttle program itself, so I can't identify each individual thing without just looking it up on Wikipedia, which you could do if you really wanted to. Anyway, I'm not going to try to get into all the semantics of things. I'm going to appreciate this as a LEGO model, as me. Overall, so many things about the exterior shaping of this set are fantastic to me, and the build experience, with the exception of one area that I will get into, was a joy. Nothing felt particularly repetitive to me. Nothing felt particularly tricky. You build from a lot of different directions. There are distinct sub-assemblies, but you don't spend too much time on any small thing that doesn't feel like it's really making good progress towards the end result. it just felt good all the way through. Then when it's all done, you have things to play with, like the expandable vertical stabilizer speed brake flaps that can open up. There's a hidden mechanism that's built fairly early on that connects to the elevons through the upper main engine here. So you can see those are able to flap back and forth, and those control surfaces themselves are built up pretty nicely and attached in interesting ways. You also have the main body flap down here for a little extra aerodynamic lift on re-entry, especially as you get closer to the ground, and that has another built-in feature that is my favorite. Gear retracted, yes. Push. Gear extended. And you can see that the main gear back here are a little bit longer than the front strut, which gives you that realistic forward rake when it's on the ground. Now, you cannot pull this to retract the gear automatically. You have to do that manually. But, I mean, you can kind of explain that away, as Lego was very quick to do in the instructions and very proud to do, by the fact that the real thing is not able to retract its gear automatically either. One thing missing underneath, though, is any sort of coverage for those gear compartments. So you can't show this in a nice pose before it has deployed its gear, unfortunately. Without seeing those. They're not that bad, but they're definitely noticeable. Also noticeable is the difference in white between the white that's printed on the windscreen piece here and the white of the plastic and the white of the backing of a handful of these stickers. I also was able to notice a slight difference in white between different plastic parts in the set, which is just testament to ongoing quality control issues with Lego parts. They should really, really, really be better at that. I should not be able to obviously and from a distance notice the difference in white between two plastic parts from them. I can somewhat excuse the issues with printing sometimes, although I think they could do better on that one in particular. Stickers, I definitely get, although stickers could be done with clear backing instead to help with some of that. Clear back stickers have their own issues, though. Look at the inside of the crew compartment here. Those are new prints for 2021. I just put one of the gear down accidentally. I'll put the other one down, but that looks great in there. I like all of that. And this lower level down here also has a single seat. Got more prints there at the back. A couple more prints off to the side as well. This upper crew compartment can be opened by removing all of this. And there are the other 4 seats and more of those very, very nice small printed pieces that are produced very well and with good consistency. Now, you can put nano figures into the seats, but they really don't look right. I've seen a lot of people say, why didn't they include figures? I think this illustrates why. It just doesn't work. It's a nice thought, kind of, but those are really, really, really small people for this scale. On the other hand, this space is much too small for even a single minifigure. However, with some modification, you may be able to leave some stuff out and have a figure leaning way back in there, or if you leave out some of the floor, then a minifigure could sit farther down, to be sure. Now, the cargo bay is very special in both good and bad ways. First of all, you can see 4 of this brand new panel piece, curved panel piece on either side. It gets attached down at the base with an axle connector at each point, so 2 of those points per panel piece. Gives you that nice, large, smooth surface, and those are produced pretty well, and hopefully they will use those pieces for other purposes in the future, including in different colors. When you open this up, though, that's where things get particularly interesting. As you can already see, my hand reflecting in there, and it looks so space-like. It looks so real to me. However, these reflective surfaces are stickers. Oh man. Those stickers. There are 8 of the big ones and 16 of the small ones. The small ones are much easier to apply, much easier to get right, but especially the big ones require a bit of leap of faith and quite a bit of manual dexterity, and hopefully you get it right the first time, because if you don't, you could be in for a lot of frustration. It took me 50 minutes, 50, to apply all of those stickers alone. Fortunately for me, I've been building Lego sets for quite some time, and I'm pretty decent at applying stickers in general. I generally don't scoff at sticker applications. I sometimes like stickers in particular when they give me nice designs, like these definitely do, with that very just fantastic finish there that just cannot be replaced by anything other than an actual chrome style of finish. But even with my prior experience, it was still a very time-consuming process, and I can only imagine that anybody who does not have significant sticker and or decal application experience prior to attacking this model could find this to be an absolutely harrowing process, trying to get these anywhere close to right, especially with so many of them, with so much that can go wrong so easily. You can scratch the surfaces, you can get just a tiny bit of dust underneath or a little bit of air. You can get it off by just a quarter of a degree when you start, and then by the time you end, you're way off and possibly getting stuck on one of the ridges of the pieces. It feels like it could be torture for a lot of people, and I don't like the feeling of that at all. I feel very bad for many people who are not going to enjoy this experience at all. I didn't enjoy it, but it wasn't that bad to me, just time consuming. But I really wish that they had invested something extra, either in the labor ahead of time or a relatively limited run production process to get that chrome coating or that chrome style of texture attached to the pieces out of the box, also with a little bit of protection to make sure that they wouldn't get scratched up in transit. Moving past those chrome stickers, which I really felt were important to drag on about and to stress, because it's a major thing with this set, in my opinion, the rest of the interior of the cargo bay looks very nice and also went together fairly easily. You do see a little hint there of the main gear mechanism that does peek through, unfortunately, but at least the colors there don't stand out. It doesn't really disrupt the look of things in here. These represent little cameras. They use drum lacquered silver tiles up on top. Of course, the all-important Canadarm is there, and that can be articulated. You can see some of the joints, and I will also bring this out to pose it around a little bit. Here's another one of those cameras, and you can rotate these around in different angles. Those are printed pieces down there. And here's a look towards the front. The axle pins are unfortunately in that bright regular blue color. I always complain about that when the color doesn't fit the scheme, but it doesn't stand out too much here. I do very much like the inclusion of some silver ones of this piece here. It's a double long pin with an axle adapter, a female axle adapter at the top of it that is molded in silver, so it has the silver flake built into it, unlike the drum lacquered pieces. Speaking of drum lacquered pieces, check out this Hubble telescope, which is darn near covered with them. It does have some areas that have some regular light gray, but most of what you're looking at is bright silver coated pieces, at least on the body, that is. You will notice some slight differences in surface texture between the different pieces, and I don't know if it's just because of my understanding of the process to do the lacquering that I don't find that to be particularly offensive. I don't find that to be particularly unexpected. I think that these pieces look really good, and I think that they look much better with this attempt to go truly metallic than they ever would have if they had stuck to just some occasional sticker placements and a general substitution with just a light gray for everything. Of course, there was also the option to use a regular metallic silver color that is not a coating, but rather made with the standard process of including the metallic flake into the plastic itself, such as the little pearl gold stud right there, or the pearl gold flowers that are used to attach the solar panels. But in my opinion, that would not have looked as nice. It would not have been as bright in color, would not have felt as real. Now, on the underside of here, interestingly, once again, we have a good stand here that works well, but that piece right there is a print with the NASA logo on it and also the ESA logo, but it is a light gray piece. So they just have some metallic print on the outside of it that does a pretty good job of matching the look of these pieces. If you look carefully and from some angles, you will notice what a lot of people refer to as scratches, a pattern of scratches on these parts. Those are not scratches, those are weld marks. If you want to look that up, you can just Google weld marks or mold marks. It's basically where the or flow marks. It's basically where the plastic has flowed into the molds in the injection molding process, and when two waves of plastic come around from different angles and they mesh together, there's just a little bit of a border that shows up there. And when these are done with the non-coated plastic, you can see that very, very obviously with the metallic flake built in. It's much more difficult to see here, but instead of getting different colors, you just get the appearance of a little surface deformation. Also included as an accessory to the telescope is this thing, which represents the blackness of space with a very specific structural purpose. Like so. Ah yes, putting the Canadarm to good use on display. This is great. This is absolutely just a wonderful additional bonus. You notice that the solar panels have been rolled up to their stowed position. That does not require disassembling these. You just pop these off, the whole ones. This is just a large vinyl piece, by the way. And then you pop these on, which are additional sub-assemblies, little ones that are included with their own pieces. So that's all taken care of for you. And this is fairly secure. You attach the arm up at the end and everything. It looks good. It looks right. It feels good. Happy about it. Lastly, the Hubble can be packed up and put fully inside of the cargo bay, and then you can close the doors up. However, you do need to remove any small accessories that are used for posing it in partially deployed form, and you unfortunately do also need to remove even the fully rolled up solar panels. But there you go. Here are the leftover pieces. Unfortunately, there are only two of those really, really nice little printed parts, little 1x1s. I would have liked to see more of those left over. I am absolutely just being greedy about that, though. Here's the white-backed sticker sheet, which included the two big ones for the plaques and then the four little ones that are applied to the outside of the shuttle. And here's the chrome one, just to demonstrate how much pain you can be in for if you're not ready for this experience. I paid $200 US, the retail price for this set, and if you look at that price to part ratio, it looks very, very good. And if you then consider the fact that this has a fair number of very large pieces, or larger than average pieces, that's for sure, and it also introduces some new molds, it has some exclusive prints, including some pretty big ones, and it has a whole bucket of drum lacquered silver pieces for that Hubble over there. This is just all good. I am so happy with the value here. I'm so happy with how this looks on display. It is far and away the best looking space shuttle that they have done to date. And they've done a lot of space shuttles, right? They've done a fair number of realistic, even licensed ones, and they've done plenty of realistic-ish, unlicensed ones. And this blows all of them completely out of the water, even just considering this. But then you also factor in the Hubble, which easily could have been its own set. I feel like the value and even the stands are really nice. I feel like the value here is really, really, really solid. I feel so bad for so many people about those stickers on the inside. It is a little bit disappointing that we still don't get a good color match right here in particular with the windscreen. Colors still aren't completely consistent from white part to white part. That is absolutely something that LEGO needs to continue to work on. So there are some quirks, little bit of hinting of the blue LEGO Technic axle pin pieces. The mechanisms here are really nice, and I will repeat again that though the stickers in here, once they're done, if you get it right, or even if you get it close to right, it is so worth it. It is so worth it in the end. Just, you have to see that. It feels like space. It really does. It feels like modern man and our interactions with space as we humans down on the ground have been able to experience it, over the past handful of decades. It's just what I expect to see, and it's surprisingly good. I like it. I like it a lot. I personally will probably fold the Hubble back up and store it on the inside just so that I have less things out and about, but I do want to see this in this form as it is on display. Yeah, maybe not like this, maybe like that. Oh yeah, the The main gear back here are probably a little bit too far back, just relatively speaking. Would have been nice to get a little bit of steering for the front or something. It's completely not necessary. This is just a bonus. They did not need to include that at all. So for every one little thing that I can nitpick about, and also with this big thing that I can talk a lot about in very negative ways, there are many things that counter them, unexpectedly good things. So it's good if you ask me. I do not have, unfortunately, a pure build to show you for this, but I did build it in real time over the course of 2 live streams on this channel. If you do want to see those builds, they're a little bit slow. They're very chatty with a lot of talking as I'm interacting with hundreds of people in the chat, but the builds are there. If nothing else, you can put them on fast forward or something, turn off the sound and just put it in the background, play your own music or something. You can see how the process went together, or you can see actual speed builds that are actually out there. Typically, I will continue to try to do most of my builds for this channel on my build channels, the pure build, the speed build, but every once in a while for some special things, I will continue to do the live builds to provide that direct interaction with the audience, which is enjoyable to many. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your time. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I'll talk to you again soon.